become unstoppable? What if everything you've been searching for has been waiting on one decision? Not a perfect opportunity, not the perfect timing, not more talent. Just one decision, the decision to keep moving. Throughout this season, we've talked about courage, fear, growth, action, your mind, and discipline. At first, these may have seemed like separate lessons, but they were never meant to stand alone. They are pieces of one transformation, because changing your life isn't about mastering one principle. It's about living them together. The people you admire today didn't become extraordinary because life was easy. They became extraordinary because they refused to stop. Today, this season comes to an end, but your journey is only beginning. And before we say goodbye, there is one final truth you need to remember. The greatest victory you'll ever achieve is becoming the person God created you to be. So where does that transformation begin? Not tomorrow, not someday. It begins today. Every great journey begins with one decision. Every life-changing journey begins long before anyone notices. It begins with a decision, not a loud decision, not a dramatic one, a quiet decision. A decision made in the deepest part of your heart. The decision to stop making excuses. The decision to stop waiting. The decision to believe that your future can be different. No one else can make that decision for you. Not your family, not your friends, not your circumstances. Only you. History has never been changed by people who waited until everything was perfect. History was changed by ordinary people who decided that today was enough to begin. Every dream starts the same way, with one choice, one step, one act of courage. The first step is rarely the hardest because of the effort. It's hardest because of the uncertainty, because you don't yet know how everything will unfold. But faith has never required perfect vision. It has only required the courage to take the next step. Remember this. You don't need to see the entire road. You only need enough light for today's step, because every extraordinary journey begins with an ordinary decision, repeated with faith. But making one decision isn't enough. The real challenge begins the next morning, when you must decide again. Fear is no longer your leader. There comes a moment when you realize something important. Fear never completely disappears. Even the strongest people feel it. Even the wisest people face uncertainty. Even those with great faith experience moments of doubt. The difference is not the absence of fear. The difference is who is leading your life. For a long time, maybe fear made your decisions. It told you to stay where you were, to remain comfortable, to avoid failure, to stay silent, to wait for a better moment. But every time you obey fear, you give away a piece of your future. Fear promises protection, but often it only creates regret. Think about the opportunities you've almost missed, the dreams you almost abandoned, the conversations you almost never had. How many beautiful things were waiting just beyond the place where you were afraid to step? Courage isn't the absence of fear. It is deciding that something else matters more. Your purpose matters more. Your family matters more. Your calling matters more. Your faith matters more. The people who change the world are not fearless. They simply refuse to let fear become their leader. Today, you have that same choice. Fear can still speak, but it no longer has to decide. Because every step you take in faith makes fear a little smaller and makes your future a little stronger. But even after fear loses its power, life will still bring storms. The question is no longer whether difficulties will come. The question is who you will become because of them. Your storm didn't defeat you. Take a moment and look back. Think about everything you've survived. The battles no one knew about. The nights you cried in silence. The prayers that seemed to have no answer. The disappointments, the setbacks, the moments you thought you couldn't continue. And yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still believing. That alone should remind you, you are stronger than you think. Sometimes we ask, why is this happening to me? But perhaps a better question is, what is this preparing me for? Every challenge taught you something. Every disappointment developed wisdom. Every delay built patience. Every loss deepened compassion. Even your failures taught lessons that success never could. Nothing was wasted. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one difficult season. God has a way of using every part of your story even the chapters you wanted to erase. One day, the pain you survived will become the hope someone else needs. Your scars will become proof that healing is possible. Your story will remind another person that giving up is never the answer. Because storms don't only test us, they transform us. So if every storm has shaped you, the only question left is, who will you choose to become from this moment forward? The greatest victory is who you become. When people think about success, they usually imagine achievements, a new job, a growing business, financial freedom, recognition, dreams becoming reality. Those things are wonderful, but they are not the greatest victory. Because what if you reached every goal, but lost your peace? What if you gained success, but lost your integrity? What if you achieved recognition, but forgot your purpose? Real success begins long before the applause. It begins when your character becomes stronger than your circumstances, when your values become stronger than temptation, when your faith becomes stronger than fear. The greatest reward for living with courage isn't what you receive, it's who you become. Think about the person you were before this journey, the fears you carried, the excuses you believed, the doubts that controlled your decisions. Now think about the person you're becoming, someone who keeps going. Someone who chooses hope, someone who protects their mind, someone who lives with purpose, someone who keeps their promises. That transformation is worth more than any trophy, because everything you build can one day disappear. But the person you become will walk with you for the rest of your life. Protect that person, keep shaping that person, never stop becoming that person, because that person is the greatest gift this journey could ever give you. And now, there is only one final truth left, the truth that brings this entire season together. Before this season ends, I want to remind you of something. You are not the same person who started this journey. Maybe your circumstances haven't changed yet. Maybe some prayers are still waiting to be answered. Maybe some doors are still closed. Maybe the road ahead still seems uncertain. But look at your heart. Look at your perspective. Look at your courage. Something has changed. Because real transformation always begins on the inside, long before it appears on the outside. One day, people will look at your life and admire what you've built. They'll celebrate your victories, your peace, your confidence, your strength, but they will never fully see the quiet decisions that made it possible. The mornings you chose discipline, the moments you chose faith instead of fear, the times you stood up after falling, the prayers you whispered when no one else was listening, the tears that became strength, the waiting that became wisdom. Those moments were never meaningless. They were building you. Remember this. The purpose of this season was never to make you feel motivated for one day. It was to help you become someone who keeps moving long after motivation fades, someone who chooses courage, someone who protects their mind, someone who lives with purpose, someone who remains faithful, even when no one is watching. Because that is where extraordinary lives are built. Not in extraordinary moments, but in ordinary days, lived with extraordinary faithfulness. As this season comes to an end, your real journey begins. Walk with courage, lead with wisdom, love deeply, serve faithfully, trust God completely, and never forget the future you've been praying for is being built by the choices you make today, one faithful day at a time. If you've walked through this entire season with me, thank you. This wasn't just a series of videos, it was a journey. If this season strengthened your life, subscribe and stay with us for what's coming next. Now I have one final question. Which lesson from this season will you begin living today? Share it in the comments. Your answer may become the encouragement someone else needs. I'll see you in the next season. Extraordinary lives are built one faithful day at a time.